Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my 2025 Quarter 3 BookTube Spin video. The BookTube Spin is a TBR game that was brought to BookTube by Rick McDonnell. He based it off of something that I think went on literary blogs, where they created a list of 20 books and then spun a wheel basically to do the choosing for them of which book they would read next. And I believe usually they would cordon off the 20 books into 4 categories of 5. And I've been playing this game quarterly for a while. I've tweaked a few of the rules as I've gone and kind of made it my own. For one thing, I have 4 categories that have been relatively unchanging for a while. I start with Jewish romance, then I go into general literature, then science fiction, and then fantasy. I spin 3 times, and I ultimately choose the book that I read from least recently in the game. And as you can see here, the genre I read from least recently is science fiction, so that's definitely what I'm going to be aiming for, or maybe for fantasy. Of course, you know, the spinner wheel is completely beyond my control. But because of that, I've decided to put my thumb on the scale, especially since a lot of these books have been on my list for a while. So what I do is, I play quarterly, and every time I choose a book and read it, I remove that number from the wheel so that there's less of a chance that I'll spin, a category I've already read from this year. But at the end of the game, I will do an audience spin in case you're interested in playing and want to go with all 20 numbers. Okay, so that's my general rules. Basically what is left to do is to give a little synopsis of the 20 books I have on my spinner wheel. I have gone ahead and I've actually tweaked Jewish romance in particular because I had to remove one because I, read it for my quarter 2 pick. And if you watched my last video, my page 112 tag, my monthly TBR, you'll know that I chose The Matzo Ball by Jean Metzler as my pick for the month. And that's, one of the books that's been on the Jewish romance list for a while, so I've had to replace it. Starting with Jewish romance, and book number 1 is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. This is YA romance with nominally Jewish characters. Imogen, a senior in high school, thinks she's a straight LGBTQ ally, but when new relationships have her questioning her sexual identity, she's accused of identity appropriation. This seems kind of hard-hitting about policing others in the name of social justice. Number 2 is Recommended for You by Laura Silverman. Bookseller Shoshana is gunning for a holiday bonus, but the only thing standing in her way is annoying, non-literary, hot Jewish bachelor, Jake Kaplan. I think we know where this goes. Book number 3 I am nixing as my quarter 2 pick. Book number 4 is Marry Me by Midnight by Felicia Grossman. After her father's untimely death, Isabella must secure a marriage outside of the powerful Barab family in order to maintain her own influence in the family company. Could Erin Ellenberg, the community outsider, answer her prayers? This is a Jewish Victorian gender-bent Cinderella retelling. Lots of exciting things here. And number 5 is Meant to Be Mine by Hannah Orenstein. Edie's grandmother Gloria predicted the exact date Edie would meet her beshert, Yiddish for soulmate. But although she meets an attractive musician at the right time, Edie finds out that predetermination isn't as simple a concept as she believed. What if a relationship includes some rocky waters as well? Now I go into general literature with number 6 I'm nixing as my quarter 1 pick. Number 7 is The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. Spanning several decades, we start with an illicit love affair between a Greek Cypriot and a Turkish Cypriot. We follow war and displacement and commentary on the natural world. Number 8 is Search by Michelle Huneven. A food writer joins her church's search committee for a new minister, leading to humorous ruminations on the inanities of church politics. I kind of want a Jewish version of this too, just saying. Also, there's recipes. Number 9 is The Other Wes Moore by Wes Moore. My governor, a successful black American, tracks down an imprisoned drug dealer who shares his name, age, roughly, and city of origin. This is a testament to what helps kids succeed and fail. And number 10 is Dolls of Our Lives by Mary Mahoney and Allison Herrocks. The hosts of the Dolls of Our Lives podcast discuss the origins and legacy of the American Girl brand. Now we have science fiction with number 11, Provenance by Anne Leckie. A fugitive looks to reclaim stolen treasure in space and finds herself embroiled in an alien plot, literally. Number 12 is Ancestral Night by Elizabeth Bear. A routine salvage mission in space goes awry when an ancient technology is uncovered. 13 is Pushing Ice by Alistair Reynolds. A rockhopper crew is tasked with tailing one of Saturn's moons as it breaks orbit and leaves the solar system. Number 14 is Lightness by C.A. Higgins. Computer scientist Althea is closer to her spacecraft than any of its crew, but she must put her surveillance skills to the test to foil a terrorist plot. And number 15 is On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Doivas. As a comet moves to strike Earth, our teenage protagonist fights against an unjust system to survive. And finally, we have fantasy, starting with number 16, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. This is a YA classic about a young sorcerer who tampered with long-held secrets and unleashed a terrible shadow onto the world. Number 17 is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. A man discovers his fate is tied up with that of an empire, and he may be here not to save the world, but to destroy it. Number 18 is The Living Waters by Dan Fitzgerald. A river cruise for nobles is upended, pun intended, by mysterious swirls, which lead them into a mythical wetlands called the Living Waters, hence the title. Number 19 is A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kosloff. An orphaned princess becomes a guerrilla fighter and must assemble a group of rebels to take back the kingdom. And finally, number 20 is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. A young peasant girl discovers she has an unearthly power, but the war she fights for her god may cost her her humanity. Moving right along to the spins, I have the spinner wheel on my iPad right here, so we're going to start with spin number 1. Okay, 18 is in fantasy. It's The Living Waters by Dan Fitzgerald, which could work, but I'm really hoping for a science fiction, so let's hope these next two spins are a little better in that regard. All right, now we got spin number 2. Spin number 2 is 16, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin, our second fantasy. You know, I'm remembering in the last BookTube spin, there was a heavy favoring of science fiction, and now there might be heavy favoring of fantasy, but could we try to move back to science fiction? One more chance, let's see. All right, here goes nothing for spin number 3. All right, the wheel was not kind to me, despite my thumb being on the scale. Spin number 3 brought me back to Jewish romance and Imogen, obviously, but I just read from Jewish romance last quarter, so I'm definitely going to stick with fantasy. And of my 2 fantasy books, I'm going to go with The Living Waters by Dan Fitzgerald, because I own it, and I am trying to, actually pay heed to my physical shelves. I got this book from a very local book festival a couple of years ago, the Literary Hill Book Festival in Capitol Hill. It has a lot of cool stuff in it. This is an indie publication. Page 112 wasn't that impressive to me, so that's a little concerning, but, it's always good to give the little guy a try. Here's a bookmark of the characters. And here's another image of them as well, so I guess I'll be learning more about these people in the next quarter. And finally, I'll go for the audience spin with all 20 numbers. If you get something in my science fiction category, I might cry. Here we go. Son Nineveh, you did get something in my science fiction category at the very end of it, but I can't read that book because that's not my spin. I'll play by the rules to that extent. I did my own 3 spins and the wheel spoke. I hope whatever you put into slot 15 is to your liking and something you wanted to hit, you know, this quarter or whenever you're going to read your book. And that about covers it for me now. I will leave the Goodreads links for all 20 of these books listed down below if you'd like more information. Also, I'm putting this video in my TBR Games playlist if you want to see old versions of the BookTube spin or the page 112 tag. Thank you so much to Rick McDonnell for bringing this to BookTube. It's been a lot of fun for me. And expect me back here on this channel now that I've been piling on a lot of TBR books. I have to start reading them, so I'll have an AM reading video coming up hopefully pretty soon. And in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.